Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome back to F1 2020 here for My Team Career Mode Season 2 of the Italian Grand Prix, and we've got some catching up to do to Valtteri Bottas. He's got quite a considerable lead in the championship. Hopefully this race we can turn that around and hopefully closing the gap to him. Typically Monza is a very strong track for me. It's probably my favourite track on the entire calendar. Absolutely love racing around here, but as you can see from qualifying 1, only 8th place, 6 tenths away from Valtteri. Qualifying 2 was much better. We got through 2nd place, well ahead of Valtteri's, and unfortunately Kimi Räikkönen is out, so too with Max Verstappen, so that's a couple of interesting losses from this qualifying session. I'm skipping over qualifying 1 and 2 because at least at this track we are very strong, so it's sort of expected that I'd get through to Q3. Speaking of Q3, Esteban Ocon puts in the personal best so far of a 16.8. That's got him provisional pole position. We come across the line and we're only 100th down on his time, so pretty decent pace. I believe we have spare sets of softs. This is going to be our final run of softs. Actually, I don't think I saved any for the race. So we're currently sitting P3. Valtteri Bottas is currently on pole position with a 1:16.5, I believe. We're going to turn 1 heavy braking zone here into 2nd gear. We didn't really cut the corners much on the inside as what we could have done, so that's lost us quite a lot of time. However, our exit was much better compared to the previous lap, so we've gained a little bit of that time back. Now hugging the right hand side all the way through the Curva Grande, Valtteri Bottas improves to do a 16.5. And coming into the 2nd chicane here, heavy braking zone, 3rd gear, cut the corners nice, a little bit of a wide line and got caught up on the grass a bit on the exit, so we've lost quite a lot of time here. And the first Lesmo was pretty poor as well, as Carlos Sainz actually goes through into provisional pole position, getting a nice slipstream off the massive train of cars that there is going through, ending qualifying now, going through sector 1 at the moment, but we are currently on a pretty shocking lap. Ocon now goes fastest with a 16.4, and coming through Ascari we pushed the limits just a bit too hard, and unfortunately we spun out. So yeah, there's not going to be no chance to improve now. The session's over. We're going to be starting at best P6, although I doubt this lap would have would have been able to improve in the final sector. Is a pretty shocking lap. And yeah, P6, Ocon from Sainz, and then Valtteri, which is an interesting top 3. And it's unfortunate that we couldn't capitalise on that. Maybe I should have gone out with the AI, given how powerful the slipstream is on this game. We're currently winning our rivalry against Vettel though, which makes me very happy. So we should get a nice bit of acclaim from that at the end of this race. All we have to do is finish and not get a penalty, and we've won basically, which is going to be easier said than done around Monza, but let's give it a go, and I'll see you for the start of the race.
Welcome back to one of only 2 countries that has held a race every year since the very first Formula One World Championship in 1950. It is, of course, Italy, one of the great racing nations, and it's time to get underway for the Italian Grand Prix. We're 12 miles northeast of Milan for today's Grand Prix at a Monza circuit where we can expect top speeds of around 215 miles per hour. 11 corners on this 3.6-mile track, with 7 of those coming in the form of chicanes. And with a good slipstream and DRS open, there should be plenty of opportunity for some passing here today. Anthony Davidson joins me again for the race today. Let's talk about Red. They need 2nd or better to ensure they stay outside of that, and their fate is no longer in their hands. And they can do it for sure, as long as they don't dwell too much on position. Hey, there's only one way to go racing, and that's to give it everything you've got. Either your best is good enough to stay in the hunt, or it's not. There's no point giving any less than 100%. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. As we get through the rest of the grid today, we have Ricciardo, Hamilton, Red and Ocon, Norris, Albon, Leclerc and Max Verstappen, Perez, Räikkönen, Daniel Kvyat and Russell, Gasly, Giovinazzi, Lance Stroll and Roman Grosjean, Magnussen, De Vries, Latifi and Sebastian Vettel starts from the back of the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see
So here we are getting ready for the start of the Italian Grand Prix. It's a completely dry race, which a bit disappointing. I would really love some rain. It would definitely give me a massive advantage over the AI. We're going to be doing the one stop, obviously softs to medium, stopping on lap 10. And we're going to be overfueling the car a little bit, just because we're going to need the extra fuel. I think we can obviously save quite easily, and fuel management's pretty decent for the car and myself, but Rich is definitely going to be needed a lot in this race. As we're getting ready for the start of the Grand Prix, we've got 3, 4, now 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go. We get a very good start compared to Hamilton's alongside us, but our second phase wasn't initially as good as his. Going through into turn 1, Valtteri's already taken second place, and he's looking to have a go at Sainz's P1. We go right round the outside of Hamilton, try to go to the inside of Ricciardo, but there's no space for us, and we get caught up a little bit on the exit. Valtteri's managed to get through into P1, we've managed to overtake Hamilton into P4, and now he's going to be coming back at us. The AI love to use all of their ERS on the opening lap, so we've had to use a little bit of ours to keep Hamilton behind, but we've managed to do that, head into the second chicane, thread it through there nicely, and now we can set our sights after Ricciardo. Obviously Hamilton's still waiting in the wings, but as long as we stay within a second of Daniel, we should be okay. Obviously this is going to turn into a massive DRS train. Hopefully Sainz can keep pressure on Valtteri so he doesn't run away with this race. Hopefully I can keep Hamilton behind and not make any mistakes. Minimising penalties is obviously going to be key in this race, as the AI do not make any mistakes. Even when you force them off the track in a place where you would get a penalty, they don't get a penalty, as Hamilton is continuing to use ERS to potentially have a look at us going to Parabolica, but we use a little bit of ours to keep him behind, and unfortunately we've lost out to Ricciardo's DRS, but hopefully we can get that back within the coming laps, as Valtteri's already pulled out about a 7/10 lead over Sainz. As we got to lap 9 now, nothing much really happened. We managed to keep Hamilton behind. Ricciardo and Sainz battled, Ocon and Hamilton battled. Valtteri got away, so he's now 5 seconds up the road, and we're going to be stopping this lap. We've used quite a considerable amount of our ERS, but going into the pits here, we managed to get it back up to 66%, so hopefully we can regenerate most of that, get it back up to 95%. And we should remain in P4, I think, or provisional P4 at least. As we have a very slow stop there from the boys, 3.1 seconds, which could have maybe, I don't think it would have got us ahead of Sainz, but it would have definitely got us ahead of Nick de Vries here, I think. Yeah, another few tenths, so that's another car we're going to have to overtake. Luckily Sainz is getting held up by some of the back markers. We tapped de Vries, they're going to the exit of the corner, but luckily we didn't pick up any damage from it. And I don't believe Valtteri is pitted yet, so we've got to use this undercut to our advantage, try and get close to him. Despite what Monza is known for, the tyre wear and keeping your tyres fresh is a big advantage around here, especially in one lap. As we cut to the middle way through lap 11, we go up the inside of de Vries and up the inside of Grosjean. There are 2 cars in one corner, as Esteban Ocon is out of the session, so that's one less threat to us. Ricciardo, interestingly, is on the hard tyres. I guess he's stopping a lap early. Warren's going on a tyre set that's going to slow you down massively. Anyway, it's just another one of the AI's massively big brain strategies. Hamilton has actually jumped us. He's up the road there, he's about 1.5 seconds up. But luckily we're going to have a lot of momentum go through this first chicane, so we should be within his DRS. So all that time spent battling with Grosjean de Vries has really hampered us actually. Is Valtteri still staying out? I don't think Valtteri started on the mediums actually. I think he's really extending this soft tyre set. Well, we'll see when he bangs in like a 1 minute 18 or something on a fresh set of softs. But now on lap 14 we're trying to have a look at Hamilton here, and we go for a really late dive up the inside there. We wasn't really paying attention. We leave him space on the inside, but we managed to get the move done pretty cleanly around the outside of turn 2. So it was a good move, pretty easy pickings there. So Hamilton just was caught napping really. And now we're going to set ourselves after Sainz and Ricciardo, who seem to be squabbling quite a bit. Valtteri isn't massively pulling away, so that would lead me to believe he's on the mediums. So the win is still potentially on, but we've got to have mega pace as Sainz overtakes Ricciardo. Ricciardo gets held up massively. We're only at 20% ERS, so we've been burning through it quite a lot, but that's kind of the sacrifice you have to make when you're at a track like this with the AI. As we go around the outside, right down the inside of Ricciardo, and now looking for a down the inside of Sainz. There's going to be two cars in one corner once again. There's a little bit of contact, but the room was there, and we managed to get past both of them. As actually we're going to have a look at this on the replay camera here. Is Ricciardo's getting caught up behind Sainz. I didn't actually touch Ricciardo there, he just had an interesting weave. And Ricciardo tries to make it 3 abreast. He actually taps the back of Sainz, so Ricciardo just hampers himself even more there. And Sainz leaves the gap to go up the inside. Obviously you don't really want to be defending on the inside going into this corner, as it does compromise your run quite heavily. But he left the space, so he managed to get through. Obviously utilising a lot more of the inside curb than what the AI do. And yeah, 2 cars in one corner. That's definitely helped us get close to Valtteri. But despite not losing too much time behind Sainz and Ricciardo as we get our penalties, that's definitely the win out of the question now. Valtteri was able to keep his tyres really well in check, and he managed to pull away from us only by 4.3 seconds. So I don't think I could have done much more this race. Obviously, if I had a better qualifying, then things would have been okay as we cut to the end of the race. Now, nothing much really happened apart from those few moments of fun as we come across the line. Trying to set fastest up, unfortunately we didn't get it. But we got P2 in the end, so that's a good result. Obviously we're not going to close on Valtteri, but we're going to extend from Hamilton behind, who I believe is the next closest driver. So overall, a pretty decent result given the situation I put myself in at the start of the race. So yeah, as I said, pretty decent. Everything, all things considered, really. Unfortunately, Raikkonen doesn't get any points. He didn't really do anything, did Raikkonen? As we're going to actually have a look where he finished here. P20. Oh, he DNF'd. I didn't pick that up. So not a good race for Raikkonen there. He could have definitely picked up some valuable points. As we actually jump Hamilton in the drivers, so that's good for us. And yeah, we're 78 points behind Valtteri in the constructors. In the drivers rather. So it's going to be a pretty mammoth task to catch back up to him. Luckily we do have some very good tracks coming up for us. If I can remember what they are, I believe we've got Singapore, so a very good track for me, Mexico and Brazil, so also good tracks for me, and the other one is USA. So we've only got 4 rounds left of Season 2 to make up 78 points. Valtteri basically needs to win in Singapore and myself not to score, and that gets him the championship. So hopefully it can be the other way around, and if Valtteri doesn't score and I can get 26 points and claw my way back towards him. But we'll have to see with Singapore. Now we're just finishing up, doing the usual thing, housekeeping here, accumulating a considerable amount of cash just in case we want to replace Raikkonen next year. I don't know whether this has already come as news or whether we've already been told, as I don't remember, as it's been a while since I actually edited this video, but Raikkonen is actually retiring at the end of the season. So he's definitely played a massive part in helping us bring this car back to where it was with the experience that he has. And it's kind of annoying he's leaving, but given the performances he's had this year, I was probably going to swap him out anyway. So we've got to think about that next year, which is why I'm accumulating a lot of money. And yeah, I already have my mindset on a few drivers. people like Leclerc, Norris, Sainz, Ricciardo. I'd like Verstappen, but I think he might be a bit far out of reach. But we've got to have some good races, and hopefully we'll be able to get a decent driver. So if you did enjoy this video, please do leave a like, share and subscribe, and I'll catch you all for more F1 2020 My Team content soon.